What's being called the largest pandemic fraud case in the country is stemming from right here in Minnesota, with ties to Rochester specifically. KIMT News 3's Jessica Bringy joins us live from Brava Restaurant and Cafe with why the business is being singled out for its involvement in an alleged scheme to defraud a nonprofit whose mission was to help feed hungry kids in our community. Jessica.
Tyler, Brava Restaurant and Cafe was enrolled in the federal child nutrition program under the sponsorship of Feeding Our Future. Now, federal charges are being filed against 4 former Rochester employees accused of stealing millions of dollars from the program while working here in September of 2020. $250 million has allegedly been stolen from U.S. taxpayers. But even worse, the theft meant hungry children were deprived of food during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic.
The scheme that began with a simple idea in March of 2020 grew to become the largest pandemic fraud in the United States.
Tuesday, U.S. Attorney Andrew Luger charged 47 individuals, including 4 from Rochester, with stealing $250 million from Feeding Our Future. Charges include conspiracy, wire fraud, money laundering, and bribery.
As alleged in these indictments, over a short period of time, these 47 defendants engaged in a brazen scheme of staggering proportions.
Based on their fraudulent claims, the defendants in Rochester received approximately $4.3 million in federal child nutrition program funds. A former U.S. attorney for Minnesota says there could still be more charges to come.
When you discover a fraud, it's like an iceberg, and you discover the tip of the iceberg, and what lies beneath is much greater and more vast than you can possibly understand at first.
Earlier today, I witnessed customers coming up to this store and pulling on the handle to check to see if it was open, clearly unaware that the business is vacant at this time. I also spoke to a woman who works one business down from the restaurant. She tells me she often saw the owners passing out free dishes, including rice, chicken, and fish, which she says she believed were part of that federal program. When I asked her if she ever suspected anything, she told me she was blindsided.
It's just pretty sad that they got shut down because you mishandling the money for something else.
Roxana Ortega says since she's been working in the area, her impression of the owners was always positive. It's a viewpoint that's pivoted in light of the recent federal charges.
They will come out here and give out free food all the time, so for them to use the money, whatever was left over for their needs, it's kind of sad. You know, you could have put more effort or more out to the community than you keep it for yourself.
Brava Restaurant and Cafe also falsely claimed to have a contract with the Rochester School District. You can view the names and charges of those former employees by going to KIMT.com and clicking on this article. Live in Rochester, Jessica Bringy, KIMT News 3.
All right, Jessica, thank you very much. Now, some of the defendants, including Feeding Our Future founder Amy Bach, are making their first court appearances on Tuesday. Prosecutors say some of the defendants, however, have already fled the country.